Hello all. Here's my integrated relational systems project for spring of 2021. So looking back at first semester this past fall for my IRS project, I pieced together different patterns that resembled myself while incorporating Miller's 5 Good Things, Amy Banks' CARE program, the affect regulation pattern, and Hodge's spiritual ecogram. When it comes to my relationship to the environment, I have the Minnesota outline because I am from Minnesota. I have been born and raised in the Cambridge-Isanti area. After college, I moved up to Ely. Ely is where my maternal grandmother lives. We have a family cabin up there, and my grandma lives up there. So this was where I accepted my first job after college with Essentia Health. After being there for about a year and a half, I did decide to move back closer to home at where I currently live now in Harris, Minnesota, which is about 12 minutes from Isanti County, where I grew up, and the county that I now work for. Going into my family systems model, I decided to look at it like a flower. So I have myself in the middle with the petals being the different topics that I will talk about. So first, looking at my race and ethnicity, I am Norwegian, Swedish, English, Polish, Irish, and Slovenian. This comes from my mom and my dad. I do not know my percentages of each of these race and ethnicities, but I know that I am all of these. I classify as a Caucasian. Now moving to spirituality, I have some different symbols that I feel represent my spirituality. So I classify myself as a Christian, and I feel that the cardinal symbolizes a deceased loved one to me. The eternity sign represents myself, my future husband, and God. Looking at my gender and sexual identity, I am a female. My pronouns are she and her, and I classify as a heterosexual. Now, moving to my class in education, I graduated from Cambridge-Isanti High School in 2014. I then earned my Bachelor of Science at the University of Wisconsin-Stout, where I got a degree in Human Development, Family Studies, and now I am currently obtaining my master's at the College of St. Scholastica in Social Work. I am currently 25 years old, and I was born on March 10th, 1996. Now, shifting to my health, I feel that my health is very important to me. I am gluten-free and pescatarian, and that is due to dietary restrictions. And for my health, I enjoy taking saunas and running. I've been gluten-free for almost 10 years now. I found out that I was gluten-free due to having extreme headaches. Now, when I do have gluten, when I accidentally have it, it comes out in rashes. My stomach will be very upset, and I will get terrible headaches. When I first became gluten-free, it was extremely hard to find foods that I liked, but now I feel that it is so much more popular. And when I go to restaurants, I'm able to easily find something that is gluten-free. Pescatarian is something that's newer to me. I've been a pescatarian for about 2 years now. I did this due to having gastroparesis, where I have a delay in emptying my stomach. Saunas are something that I grew up with since I was a little girl. We have one at my parents' house, and then as well as our family cabin in Ely. I do still enjoy going over to my parents and taking a sauna, especially when I am stressed. And running is just a nice stress reliever for myself. I have been a runner throughout my high school career, and then I just continued to do it in college for leisure time, and now I do it as well. Looking at the political affiliation, this is something that I have a hard time talking with people just because I'm a person who does not like conflict. If it was up to me in my world, I feel it is just important to be kind to anyone. When I do look at politics and it's time to vote during those times of years, I do find myself looking towards the Democratic side, as that is where I feel a lot of my beliefs affiliate with. I think education is also something that's important. So I have a picture up there, as well as the NASW Code of Ethics for Social Work, as that is our profession. Moving now to my family. I put my family in the middle of the flower, and now each petal will represent the different topics. So looking at my family's belief, growing up, my sisters and I were always told, don't judge a book by its cover. Everyone has a story, and have faith. This is something that I feel is extremely important. Now looking back, as I'm older, looking that there are so many people that do have a story, and it's important to not judge a book by its cover. I also think it's important to have faith. That is something that my family has also always have said. When it comes to family strategy, growing up, my family strategy was we all grow at different rates, and that's okay. So I have two younger sisters, and between the three of us, we all grew at different rates. I was at a place in kindergarten where my sisters were a little higher, and vice versa. And I found this little quote here with the it's like a little meme, I should say, with the I love your petals, and then the other plant is saying, thanks, I feel like I'm blooming way slower than you though. And the flower goes, we're different flowers, silly. And I think that's so true, even when I look at my work that I do now. When it comes to my family's rules, growing up, it was always told that you treat others the way you wanted to be treated, and to keep communication open, and to be honest, which are two important rules that I still hold close to today. Looking at the life challenges, throughout my life, I feel like there have been a few challenges that have been life challenging. My middle sister, when I was in first grade, had a brain tumor, and this was something that was extremely traumatic for me, as I was a first grader, and my parents had to really help my sister and be there for her while she was in the hospital. I was having numerous surgeries, had to make some medical decisions. And so I just remember feeling lost, just because I didn't have my mom and dad with my normal routine that I would have during the day and into the evening. And that was really challenging, and especially too for my mom and dad. And having my youngest sister, she had 3 ACL surgeries about 2 years ago in the span of 18 months. And that was something that was also traumatic, especially now being at an older age, and trying to put myself into her shoes was really hard, especially since she had such a passion to play basketball. It is exciting, though, to say that my sister is brain tumor free now, and my sister is able to play basketball, and she's currently playing at Bemidji State. And then looking just at our mental health, like I said, my sisters and I are 3 years apart, and just now that we are at an adult age and stage, just knowing each other's mental health and making sure that we're taking care of ourselves and each other. Looking at adaptation, this was something that we've all experienced in my family with my parents and my sisters. I would say that we're a very close-knit family, especially growing up and being so close in age, and just having all the same, all girls, is something that has had a lot of change. For me, accepting a full-time work position and living on my own, and then moving in with my fiance, was something that was a huge change for my family. and also just all of us out of the house now. My youngest sister just recently graduated high school last year, and so just the changes, especially with COVID, all of us moving and changing with all the good was something that was a change. Looking at our differentiation, so all three of us, this is a picture of all three of us, and we may look alike. Sometimes they all say that we all look alike, including my mom, but all three of us are just different in our own way. With me being the oldest in a social work profession, my middle sister just graduating from the University of Stout in hospitality, restaurant tourism management. She just recently accepted a job with Whitney James doing event planning. And then my youngest sister playing basketball at Bemidji State, looking to be a gym teacher and adding her coaching certificate. So all three of us are completely different in our own ways, but we are able to come together and still have our differences, but still have this have the time that we have together. And my triangle. When I think of my triangle, I think of the three different sides and who my core is. And so I would say that would be my mom, dad, and sisters. Ben would be on the other side. And then on the other side would be my grandma. My grandma is someone who has been extremely important to me throughout my whole entire life. And that would be my maternal grandmother who lives up in Ely. So living with her for the time that I did in college in the summer was something that I'll forever cherish, as well as when I did get my first job up in Ely. She was someone that was always there for me. Moving on to the Brofenfenner 6-level ecosystem. So I'm looking at myself, then I go to my microsystem, mesosystem, exosystem, macrosystem, and chronosystem. So when it comes to my microsystem, I think of family, I think of my fiance Ben, I think of my dogs, I think of my grandma, my friends, and work. So there's a picture of my mom and dad and sisters. There's a picture of Ben and I in Florida just this past spring. And then a picture of my grandma, her little dog Rosie, and Ben on her swing. Going to the mesosystem, this is when I think school, other relatives, my faith, my fiance's family, and work and family and friends. So right now I have the College of St. Scholastica as my school. I have a picture of a cross for my faith. I have a picture of my fiance's family in Florida, and then Iceni County, which is where I work in the Children's Services unit. Looking at exosystem, this is where I think my neighborhood, city, community, city and county laws, local government services. So I have a picture of Iceni County. It's the Boot County, and Cambridge, Iceni are two of the towns that form the county of Iceni. Going to my macro system, this is where I look at the state and federal laws, freedoms, voting and politics, social media, environment, and healthcare. And then looking at the chrono system, so this is when I thought about when I moved to Harris, when I became engaged just recently, juggling school and work and how to balance all of that, and then planning a wedding. Then when I look at my spiritual ecogram, I just believe in the helping hand of helping others. In summer of 2013, I had the opportunity to go to Rwanda, Africa. And this is where I was able to help fresh running water for some families in Kivuruga, Rwanda, is what it was called. And so I sponsored a little girl at the time. She was 3 years old. Her name was Adeline, and I sponsored her and her family. And I had the opportunity to meet her and see where my money was going and to help put running water in for families so they did not have to walk 6 miles to get it. So I just personally feel that whenever you are able to touch someone, to open your hands and do that. And that is my IRS project for spring of 2021. Thank you.
You're right at 15.